The Flesh and Blood world has very quickly figured out that Verdance is going to be the Rampant Growth life combo queen. And one of the things that makes her really interesting is she uses cards like Plow Under and Felling of the Crown to be able to offer disruption through physical attacks throughout the game, which really gives her a lot of value to slow her opponents down and try to set up her big combo finish. Victor does pose a very interesting threat into us though, as he's able to block with cards like Trounce and Tests of Strength to give himself a lot of value on our physical attacks, while still running AB to hopefully try and slow down our combo turn. But Victor's best option is to be throwing cards like Zealous Belting, Rouse the Ancients, Command and Conquer, pressuring us, making our hand awkward, as Verdance does have a lot of 2-blocks in her deck. Thanks for stopping by, guys. I hope you enjoyed the match. Okay, we're playing against Victor, and we are going first. I chose to go first here to try and maybe set up a little bit here. I would like to play... I think we're going to activate Surgent Aethertide and then throw the Blossoming Decay. I would like to go ahead and get some Earth cards in our graveyard here if I can. Arsenaling a combo card, setting up pretty well pretty early, which I'm a big fan of. Yeah, all right. So they pitched the Visit Goldman Estate and then block there. We get to Arsenal the Rampant Growth and set up pretty well. So we could make the play of on our turn. We could... Okay. So right here, we can block this rounds on me. We can gain a life and amp, and then we can throw the Blossoming Decay, because at that point we will have 2 Earth cards and an action card in there. And so I think that kind of sets us up well. We are giving up a combo piece, but I think it's okay, all things considered. It sets us up. I wish we had the Tunic counter here. Having a Tunic counter would be insane. And then we just get to throw this, and we do get to decompose here. So kind of starting to fuel our game plan a little bit here. Also arsenaling a Sink Below, giving us a lot of value. Yeah, Trounces are going to be tough. Like the Trounces and the Test of Strengths are going to get a lot of value out of, and we're just going to have to hope that we can fade some of it. They do have Null Room Boots and Gloves, so they're running AB2. They did not win the Trounce. Oh, they chose not to reclash. Interesting. Interesting that they chose not to reclash. I am very surprised, to be honest. So I think we can block 6 here. If we block 6, I can discard Fruits of the Forest, and then I can play Healing Potion. I think that's a pretty good place to be at. We're also setting up and fueling our plan even more here by setting this up. A lot of good cards here in one hand. We could block with the Blossoming Decay and the Pulsing Ether here if we wanted to. So if I block with the Pulsing Ether and I throw the Plow Under here, we can clear out their arsenal. What did they reveal? I missed what they revealed. They revealed a Zealous Belting and a Thunderquake. Okay. So I guess it really depends on like what they have in their arsenal here. I think I might just block with the Gauntlet here. It's just good value. We just kind of get to block for 2, take a little bit of damage, and then we can set up. They are just going to throw this at us. Huh. I am a little surprised to see this, if I'm being honest. So let's see. We're going to have... Yeah, we're going to be able to decompose pretty quickly here. So we'll go ahead and sink. And then I guess we will Surgent Aethertide and Plow Under, Arsenal Blossoming Decay. Could be a pummel incoming. It's like if it's pummel, then we just kind of have to discard something. Maybe we put this on the bottom, actually. Mind Warp, nothing to write home about. I mean, it's not a bad card, but we want to turn on our hero ability here. We're going to activate Surgent Aethertide, pitching the Mind Warp, which pitching the Mind Warp really, I feel like, messes with them a little bit because it makes them wonder what's coming here. Okay. All right, so we're going to throw Plow Under. We are going to decompose. We're going to get the Fruits of the Forest and the Autumn's Touch. and then we're going to get the Blossoming Decay, because it means that we're only 2 more Earth cards away from our graveyard to being able to decompose again and really set up here. I probably should have blocked with the Arcane spell that we had last turn just to be safe. Probably would have been, we would have been closer to having our plan set up, which would have been better. Just a little bit of a misstep on my part. I guess we can just block 6, to be honest. Like, just blocking 6, and then we'll gain 6, I guess. I kind of hate to waste our sigils on when we do not have Verdance active here, but not sure what our opponent was trying to do there. Oh, they have a heave card, and they're trying to put it into their arsenal. Okay, so they're going to use Tunic to heave here. Or they have a Pulverize. That's pretty good. We're just going to play both of these. Go back up. And then not a ton we can do here, to be honest. So if I block Heartbeat of Candlehold and Rootbound Carapace, I will have exactly what I need. And then I can pitch Tome of Harvests with Surgent Aethertide, use Tunic to throw Blossoming Decay for 1 gain of life, and then Arsenal the Sigil. We're taking a little bit of damage here, but I think that's okay. I guess we can also just decompose here, right? Sorry. We're gonna have to do this and not decompose, which is a real feels bad, but yeah, it does feel really bad to not decompose there, but I like the Pulverize. The Pulverize is interesting. It kind of makes me wonder if they're playing the Ed Knight list, Ed Knight's new list that he was streaming last night. But I'm curious why they're playing Crown of Dominion here. So we get to Surgent Aethertide. I like arsenaling the Command and Conquer because, or I'm sorry, the Sigil of Solace, because it lets us play around Command and Conquer very well. We are going to go Rootbound Carapace, Plow Under, leave the Heartbeat there, because there are worlds where we can actually use Plume to get back Heartbeat and make a play out of it. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but it is something we can do. We obviously want to be using Plume to get back our combo card, the Rampant Growth and Life card, but there are times when we have to make other things work here. This hand looks pretty good. I mean, so E-Strike for go again. I don't know what they could throw at me that would make blocking here feel bad. In fact, I'm going to be honest, I don't really think it's anything. Just throwing Hammer for 6. We are just going to take 6. The one problem with this matchup is that while we're trying to combo, our opponent is able to do a lot of very powerful things. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to play Sigil of Solace, so we get to go back to 29, deal an Arcane to them, and now we have 2 healing potions in play, and we have our combo piece here. So this is looking pretty solid for us. Is this just our hand? Like, is this it? I'm trying to make sure we have it. I mean, I don't know that we kill him here, but this is a heck of a lot of damage. So we pitch Heartbeat of Candlehold, or we pitch Heart of Fyendal to play Heartbeat, gain a life, gain a life, gain a life. Trigger, trigger, trigger. And then we get to go, we have 2 floating. We get to go Healing Potion, gaining 2, Healing Potion, gain 2, trigger, trigger. And then we get to play, we get to activate Rampant Growth. We're short 1 to be able to do the Pulsing Ether as well here. So pitch this to play this. We could play this and not activate Plume. We could not activate Plume here, I guess, which would feel pretty bad, but it's still a lot of damage we're pushing through here. So let's see what they throw at us. Let's kind of play this turn out, because we also have a pretty decent hand here. where we can not combo off. Okay, well, that's going to stop us from comboing, right? That is going to shut down our combo turn here. So this is an action. We can block 6. If we block 6, we take 3. We get to activate Surgent Aethertide, and then we get to play the deal 4 side of this. We could also just play both sides of this. It's just better, right? Because we get to gain a life. Playing both sides of this is just better here. Yeah, because we get to ping. Heart gains us a life, puts us to 22, which means we deal an arcane to them. So, man, if we had had Tunic, that hand was insane. That would have been like the craziest combo turn in the world if Tunic had been up right there. We would have got to have done all the things. Now, Spinal Crush would have put a stop to it, but I got to tell you, that hand, that's what dreams are made of when we're talking about playing Verdance here, because that's just, it's so much damage. It's just so much damage. So this is gain 1 from Heart, ping them, gain 1 from Life, ping them, and then deal 4 from Pulsing Aether. Pulsing Aether has been a very good addition to the deck. It has felt very good. Okay, so they're going to pitch a Trounce and use Tunic here, and then 4 Arcane coming in. They take the 4, fall down to 29. Block Plow Under and Felling of the Crown. And we get to just throw Felling of the Crown ourselves, which is a pretty good disruption piece. The more chip damage we can do against our opponent, the better off this is going to be for us. And we'll get this rounds on me. We already have the hero ability turned on, so there's no point in over decomposing now. The 2 of the first 3 I like to over decompose with because it gives us the ability to get to Verdance faster. I mean, we can do some pretty cool stuff here, but this doesn't really feel like it sitting here now. I kind of want to play Sigil of Earth, activate Surgent Aethertide, and then throw Command and Conquer. Feel like would be a pretty good play. We want to make sure we have some arcane spells left, though. I mean, we've pitched at least 1 Pulsing Aether in life, so let's activate this and see how they respond. I'm curious to see how they react here because, I mean, this could be... Okay, so they take 1. I mean, we could do some dumb stuff here if we wanted to, but I really don't think that's the play. It is kind of fun that we are representing Pummel at this point. Now, they know that we have this because I accidentally showed it to them by clicking on it earlier, but it's possible our opponent forgot, and I really don't think there's a world that Victor can play around the Pummel here, but man, there would be so much justice, I feel like, for a lot of people in the world if we were able to pummel a Victor with Command and Conquer. Like, if we were able to CNC pummel a Victor, it would make a lot of people very happy. Okay, make some Might tokens. Yikes. We actually just can't block this, can we? That would leave us with 1 more combo piece, right? There would only be 1 more left. I mean, I guess it would be fine, right? We can set up the... That is very unfortunate. So I can block 3. I can play Sigil of Earth, pitch Rootbound Carapace and Tunic to activate Surgent Aethertide, and then Arsenal to sink below. That was a very unfortunate hand for us. Their Command and Conquer lined up very well for them. So I think what we're going to do... I'm going to go ahead and activate Surgent Aethertide. See how they react. I'm curious if they'll give us a card or just take 1. And then we'll play the Sigil of Earth, and then we'll Arsenal the sink below here. Putting the Healing Potion into play could be sweet. And by could be sweet, I mean it is pretty sweet. Like, putting the Healing Potion into play feels good here. This is for 11. They pitched a pummel, and we have yet to see another one, which kind of makes me think they have one. We'll discard the tome if they do have it here. Kind of hoping they don't, but Rootbound Carapace, we will decompose. I mean, at this point, we might as well. We're going to make sure that we leave our arcane spells over there. I'm going to play Sink below. I guess we'll put Tome on the bottom. I was like, we could always draw into something pretty powerful here. I would consider the Felling of the Crown a much better hand than what we had. Felling of the Crown is looking very solid here. We're going to get Autumn's Touch and the other Felling of the Crown, and we'll get rid of our Command and Conquer. So this is 8. They have to put a card from their hand on the bottom of their deck. And we did not get to put the Healing Potion into play, but maybe I'm supposed to be more combo focused here. Like, maybe the Disruption is not where it's at. I don't know. I just like pressuring them with cards from hand. I like pressuring them with attacks because it gives Bullander vibes. And one of the best ways that Icelander could beat up on Oldhim back in the day was by actually taking attacks out of their hand here. Okay. 4 Might tokens. Kind of want to arsenal this and set up so that we can do like crazy dumb combo stuff here. Sink the Mind Warp away, maybe. So if I activate Surgent Aethertide, pitching Fruits of the Forest, which I kind of like, we're keeping cards in our deck here. And one of the concerns is that there's a possibility for us to get fatigued, but every ping damage we do is just putting us closer to getting to our game plan here. We will decompose. We will get rid of Sigil of Earth, Rootbound Carapace, and Destructive Aethertide. So we've now really set up here. The other thing that we have to keep in mind is that every single life we gain on our combo turn is going to be like a ping towards them as well. And they also just can't sit here and just take a bunch of damage. So them falling down to 18 is a massive W for us. I'm assuming they have a very powerful hand here, but 9 go again is pretty scary. Is this a combo hand? It feels like the answer is no. How many Command and Conquers have we seen? 2? Cadaverous Tilling is for 8, so let's block here and see what happens. Well, maybe we should take 9 because then I can block differently. Now, let's go to 8. This is very aggressive, going to 8, and we're putting ourselves in a weird spot. They lose all hero card effects and activated abilities. So my hero text gets turned off, basically, is what happens here. There's still the one we pitched left in the deck. So I kind of want to block with Cadaverous Tilling and Command and Conquer. Activate Surgent Aethertide, and then go pulsing into life. If I block like that, we're going to tell our opponent we're thinking here. And then I get to use Tunic to activate Surgent Aethertide into gain a life, go to 9. So we deal 1 to them, and then we get to play both sides of this card here, and we get to arsenal our combo piece, which could line up very well for us. There's also a world where I can just block with Cadaverous Tilling. I can throw the Command and Conquer, but I think this is a better line. We're already down to 6, so we do have to be pretty aware of where we are at as far as like life total is concerned. So we're going to go both sections. We're going to gain a life, go to 7, and then we're going to ping to deal an arcane damage to them. And then this is going to come in for 5 because the Surgent Aethertide hit. They fall down to 4. I mean... we might just be dead here. They may have us. Is there anything we can do, really? Like, if they have the pummel, which it really feels like they do. Like, do I want to activate... Do I want to activate Plume to get a... What does this say? An Earth action or instant card? I mean, I guess we're just kind of in the boat where we're hoping they don't have it at this point. Which feels really bad, but... Because if they have pummel, I think we just die. So they have no resources left. Is there anything we can do? We can get back our pulsing ether life here. So if I activate Sigil to get back pulsing ether life, I can play this card to gain a life, amp 1, and then I can play the other side of this card. I can gain 1. I don't think we can get there. We gain 2 and go to 9. There's no other way for us to gain life here off of... This would be a good time to be able to buy back the 2 for 5. Yeah, because this would be 5 arcane that we're dealing to them. And we're just not able to get there. I don't think there's anything we can get back that'll get us there. And these being actions is going to kill us here? Yeah. That is unfortunate. Man, it was close. I think I waited just a little bit too long to try and combo there. On turn 5, our opponent threw a Pulverize at us. Now, we did have a Rootbound Carapace to use, but unfortunately we weren't able to decompose with it. We couldn't decompose there because we needed to get that 3rd Earth card into our graveyard so that our Blossoming Decay could gain a life, trigger Verdance, and we could turn on her ability all at the same time. So a little bit of inefficient blocking, but we did gain the life back on Blossoming Decay, so it kind of cancels out, but Pulverize was a big swing for them there. Our hand going into turn 8 was going to be absolutely insane if we had a Tunic counter up and if our opponent hadn't thrown Spinal Crush at us. Now, we ended up blocking, which is the correct play there because we're still able to gain some life off of the heart, but that was about as good as a combo hand can look if everything falls into place just a little bit better for us. Now, Victor's going to offer Disruption, so it makes a lot of sense that we're forced to play around it, but that was the hand we were looking to set up and combo with. On turn 10, our opponent throws Command and Conquer at us. Now, they weren't representing pummel, but it felt pretty awkward that we had a 3-block and a 2-block and 2 defense reactions. We had already set up our combo piece in our arsenal, so I really wanted to keep it there if we could, but we had to play it there. We just couldn't hang on to it. There was nothing we could do. So playing it to gain a life is just the better move there, but we were able to set up a defense reaction in our arsenal, which does kind of set us up for better on the following turn. Looking back on turn 14, that was really just a big blunder from me. Our turn was use Tunic to throw Surgent Aethertide, and then we played the Pulsing Ether and the life to gain a life and go back up a little bit and deal some arcane damage there. I should have tried to combo off with what I have. Considering I was at 6 when the turn started, I could have gained more life, dealt more damage, and forced cards out of their hand. We had only seen 1 pummel to that point, and we had also only seen like 1 or 0 copies of the Golden Sun. So being as greedy as I was is ultimately what cost me the game there. If I had gained life, I could have dealt 17 points by going healing potion into the Rampant Growth life card, use Tunic for Surgent Aethertide, and then play our life card. We get to gain life back, we get to deal some arcane damage and force cards out of their hand, which makes them more susceptible for us to use Plume later in the game and Stormstriders if needed. And honestly, was just me being greedy and making a mistake there. I should have had more awareness of the game and played better at the end. Guys, if you see anything you think I missed, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear about it. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy, guys.